Stop for a moment. Before you flush the toilet again, you need to hear this. What I'm about to explain could be the difference between detecting a life threatening disease early when it's still highly treatable or discovering it far too late when options are limited and outcomes are devastating. I'm Dr. Adriana, and after decades working with adults over 50, I've lost count of how many patients have sat across from me and said the same painful words. Doctor, I noticed something strange months ago, but I thought it was nothing. I wish I had come sooner. Right now, your body may already be warning you, and every single day, many people flush that warning away without ever looking. What leaves your body can reveal what's happening inside you months, sometimes years before pain starts, before weakness appears, before blood tests show anything abnormal. Your digestive system speaks early. The question is whether you know how to listen. Here's what frightens me the most. The most dangerous warning sign doesn't always look dramatic. It isn't always shocking or obvious. Often, it's subtle. People notice it, feel a brief sense of unease, then move on with their day, and that hesitation can cost lives. But here's the hopeful truth. If you know what to look for, you gain power. Colon cancer, in particular, is one of the most preventable and treatable cancers when detected early. Survival rates can exceed 90% when caught in time. Your toilet bowl offers you a free daily screening if you know how to read the signs. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what matters, what should never be ignored, and how simple observations can protect your life. Let's begin with the basics. One of the first things stool reveals is color. Color alone tells us about bile flow, liver function, pancreas health, and whether internal bleeding may be occurring silently. The shape, consistency, and frequency of stool provide additional clues, sometimes pointing to inflammation, infection, or even cancer long before symptoms appear. To make sense of this, physicians use a medical tool called the Bristol Stool Scale. It categorizes stool into 7 types, ranging from very hard pellets to completely liquid. I strongly recommend printing it and keeping it in your bathroom. This isn't embarrassing, it's empowering. It allows you to monitor your health daily without equipment, tests, or appointments. Let's walk through what's normal and what's not. If your stool appears as very hard, dry pellets that are difficult to pass, this is classified as severe constipation. This means waste is sitting in your colon too long, drying out and irritating the intestinal lining. Chronic constipation increases inflammation throughout the body and raises the risk of hemorrhoids, fissures, and diverticular disease. At the opposite extreme, stool that is completely liquid indicates diarrhea. This means the intestines are moving too quickly, preventing proper absorption of nutrients and fluids. When diarrhea persists, dehydration and malnutrition can follow. Ideally, stool should be formed but soft, smooth, and easy to pass. Neither rock hard nor watery. Color matters just as much. Healthy stool is typically brown. That brown color comes from bile, a digestive fluid produced by the liver. As bile travels through the intestines, it changes color. Brown stool usually signals that digestion is proceeding normally. But here's something many people don't realize. Form and color alone are not enough. Frequency matters. Ideally, you should have a complete bowel movement every day, preferably around the same time. Some people naturally go every other day, and if that has always been normal for you and you feel fully emptied afterward, that may be acceptable. However, when more than 2 or 3 days pass without a bowel movement, or when your normal pattern suddenly changes, that's a red flag. Changes in frequency are not random. They can signal hormonal shifts, chronic stress, dehydration, medication side effects, liver or pancreas issues, intestinal narrowing, or more serious conditions developing quietly. Now, let's talk about shape, because this is where danger often hides. Healthy stool should be about the width of a banana. If you begin noticing stool that is consistently thin, narrow, or pencil-like, this deserves attention. This shape can indicate that something is narrowing the intestinal passage. Sometimes the cause is benign, like muscle tension or low fiber intake, but in other cases, it can signal a growing mass inside the colon. If this shape is new for you and persists, it should never be ignored. Another important sensation is what you feel after a bowel movement. You should feel a sense of complete emptying. If you often feel like you're never fully finished, or if you experience a constant urge to go throughout the day, even after you've gone, this can indicate inflammation or dysfunction within the rectum or colon. Now, let me pause here and give you something practical. For many people struggling with constipation, one of the most effective steps is morning hydration. Drinking a large glass of water immediately upon waking helps stimulate intestinal movement throughout the day. Regular hydration supports stool softness and transit. Fiber should be increased gradually, not suddenly to avoid bloating. Natural sources like chia seeds, ground flax, fruits with skins, and vegetables work best. But if diarrhea persists for more than several weeks, that is not normal aging. Chronic diarrhea always has an underlying cause and requires proper evaluation. Now let's address stool color changes because this is where urgency increases. Green stool is often harmless and may reflect rapid digestion or high intake of leafy greens. However, pale, clay-colored, or whitish stool persisting for several days can indicate problems with bile flow, the liver, pancreas, or gallbladder. This requires medical attention. Floating versus sinking stool, despite popular belief, is usually not significant by itself. Gas content causes stool to float. What truly matters is consistency, frequency, and change from your normal pattern. Now we arrive at the most critical warning sign of all: black tar-like stool. This is a medical emergency. Black stool with a sticky tarry appearance called melena typically indicates bleeding in the upper digestive tract. As blood travels through the intestines, it becomes dark and sticky. This can result from ulcers, bleeding vessels, or hidden cancers. If you ever notice black stool, do not wait. Do not assume it will pass. Seek immediate medical care. I have seen patients delay action and end up needing transfusions or emergency surgery. Time matters. Another alarming sign is bright red blood. Bright red blood on toilet paper, in the toilet bowl, or mixed with stool must always be investigated. While hemorrhoids are common, bleeding can also signal polyp or colon cancer. Polyp often begin benign, but some can transform into cancer over time. Blood of any color in stool should never be dismissed. At this point, you may feel concerned. That's understandable. But knowledge is not meant to frighten you. It's meant to empower you. And now that you understand the warning signs, the next step is protection. There are simple daily strategies that dramatically improve intestinal health and reduce cancer risk. They don't require extreme diets or expensive treatments. They require consistency, and that's exactly what we'll focus on next. Now that you understand the warning signs your body may be showing you, let's talk about what actually protects your intestinal health and why small, consistent actions can dramatically reduce your risk over time. The first protective strategy is daily movement. Your intestines are not passive tubes. They are active muscular organs that rely on movement to function properly. When you spend most of the day sitting or lying down, intestinal motion slows. Waste lingers longer than it should. Toxins stay in contact with the intestinal wall and inflammation quietly builds. You do not need intense exercise to protect your colon. In fact, gentle, consistent movement is far more effective. Walking for 20 to 30 minutes each day stimulates the natural wave-like contractions of the intestines that move waste forward. Stretching, light household activity, and simply avoiding long periods of stillness all help keep digestion moving as it should. Movement also improves circulation to the intestinal lining, supports immune surveillance, and helps regulate blood sugar, all factors tied to cancer risk. Make movement non-negotiable. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be daily. The second strategy is one that many people avoid, but it saves lives. Colorectal screening. Every adult should have at least one colonoscopy after age 50, and current guidelines now recommend beginning as early as 45. If you have a family history of colon cancer, screening should begin even earlier. Colorectal cancer is one of the most common and deadly cancers precisely because it grows silently. You can feel perfectly healthy while a tumor develops over years. By the time symptoms appear, the disease is often advanced. Here is the empowering truth. Colorectal cancer is also one of the most preventable cancers. Nearly all colon cancers begin as small benign growths called polyps. A colonoscopy allows physicians to find and remove these polyps before they ever become cancer. This is not just detection, it is prevention. Yes, the preparation is uncomfortable. You clean out your colon the day before. It's not pleasant, but one day of discomfort can prevent years of suffering or save your life entirely. If your results are normal, you may not need another screening for 10 years. The third and most powerful strategy is protecting your gut microbiota. Inside your intestines lives a vast ecosystem of trillions of microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, and other microbes. Together, they form your gut microbiome. When this ecosystem is healthy, it functions like a protective army working around the clock. These microorganisms help digest food, especially fibers your body cannot break down alone. Produce essential vitamins, including B vitamins and vitamin K. Regulate your immune system. Nearly 70% of immune activity originates in the gut. Influence inflammation levels throughout the body, affect mood, energy, metabolism, and even memory. When the microbiome is balanced, digestion is smooth, immunity is strong, and inflammation stays controlled. But when this ecosystem becomes disrupted, a condition called dysbiosis, the entire body suffers. Digestive issues, fatigue, brain fog, weight gain, frequent infections, and increased cancer risk can follow. One of the biggest threats to the microbiome is unnecessary antibiotic use. Antibiotics save lives when truly needed, but they are often overprescribed. Each course of antibiotics wipes out beneficial bacteria along with harmful ones. Recovery can take months, and sometimes the ecosystem never fully returns to its original balance. Antibiotics should only be used when clearly necessary for bacterial infections, not for every cold or minor illness. To actively support your microbiome, focus on two things: probiotics and prebiotics. Probiotics are beneficial bacteria you consume. The best sources are fermented foods, plain, unsweetened yogurt with live cultures, kefir, which contains even more diverse strains, fermented vegetables like sauerkraut, kimchi, and traditional pickles. Kombucha, a fermented tea, can also help when consumed moderately. Aim to include at least one fermented food daily. Prebiotics are just as important. They are the fibers that feed your beneficial bacteria. You cannot digest them, but your microbes can. When they consume these fibers, they multiply and strengthen the ecosystem. Prebiotics are found in everyday foods: slightly green bananas, apples with skin, oats, brown rice, onions, garlic, leeks, asparagus, seeds, legumes, and a wide variety of vegetables. Eating real whole foods consistently nourishes the microbiome far better than expensive supplements. This is true preventive medicine, and you have full control over it starting with your next meal. Now, let me bring everything together. Paying attention to your stool is not about obsession or fear. It's about awareness. Your digestive system often signals trouble early, long before pain, weakness, or serious illness develops. When you know what's normal for your body, changes become obvious, and early action saves lives. Your health is not determined by a single habit or a single test. It's shaped by small repeated choices that compound over time. Daily movement, consistent hydration, fiber-rich foods, microbiome support, timely screening. These actions are simple, but they are powerful. I don't want you to leave this video frightened. I want you to feel informed and empowered. You have more control over your health than you've been led to believe. Start paying attention today. Observe, act early, protect what matters. Your body is constantly communicating with you. Now you know how to listen. I'm Dr. Adriana, and my goal is to give you the knowledge and tools to take charge of your health so you can live longer, stronger, and with greater peace of mind. If this video was helpful, share it with someone you care about, especially anyone over 50. Information like this saves lives.